The Dust Bowl. It sounds like a place from a scary story, and for the people who lived through it, it was. During the 1930s, a huge area of the American Midwest turned into a dust-filled wasteland. This ecological disaster, known as the Dust Bowl, remains one of America's worst environmental catastrophes. Imagine a sky turned black, not by night, but by millions of tons of topsoil ripped from the earth. This wasn't just dirt, it was the lifeblood of the Great Plains, turned against itself. Families choked on dust, their crops buried, their dreams turned to dust along with their land. The Dust Bowl wasn't just a storm, it was a long, slow-moving disaster. It lasted for almost a decade, pushing people to their limits. The stories from this time are hard to hear, but they hold important lessons about the land, the climate, and the true cost of our choices. What caused this ecological nightmare? It was a deadly combination of human actions and natural forces. For generations, settlers viewed the Great Plains as endless grassland, ripe for the plow. They didn't realize the delicate balance of this ecosystem. The introduction of large-scale farming methods like deep plowing removed the native grasses that held the soil in place. This left the topsoil exposed and vulnerable. Then came the drought. Year after year, rain refused to fall. The land dried up, turning to powder under the relentless sun and wind. The 1930s saw the worst drought in North American history. Without the protective cover of grass, the wind whipped up the loose topsoil into massive dust storms. These black blizzards could travel for thousands of miles, turning day into night and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The immediate effects of the Dust Bowl were devastating. Imagine trying to breathe with dust filling your lungs, your eyes, even your food. Crops withered and died. Livestock suffocated. The once fertile land was now barren and choked with dust. The air became thick with dust, leading to respiratory problems, pneumonia, and a condition known as dust pneumonia. Children, especially vulnerable, suffered the most. The lack of food and water led to widespread hunger and malnutrition. The economic impact was equally devastating. Farms failed, businesses closed, and banks foreclosed on mortgages. Many people lost their livelihoods and homes, forced to leave everything behind in search of a better life. Section 4, a timeline of tragedy. Key events of the Dust Bowl from 1930 to 1940. 1930. The Dirty 30s begin. A severe drought hits the Great Plains, marking the beginning of a decade-long period of dry spells and devastating dust storms. 1931. Dust storms become increasingly frequent and intense, stripping topsoil and leaving fields barren. 1932. The term Dust Bowl is first used to describe the affected region. Farmers struggle to cope with the drought and dust storms, facing crop failures and economic hardship. 1934. Black Sunday, one of the worst dust storms in history, hits the Great Plains, turning the sky black and carrying topsoil thousands of miles east. 1935. The Soil Conservation Service is established to address the causes of the Dust Bowl and promote soil conservation practices. 1936. The Dust Bowl reaches its peak, with massive dust storms and widespread human suffering. 1937. The federal government expands its relief efforts, providing aid to farmers and implementing programs to address the environmental crisis. 1938. The drought begins to ease, offering a glimmer of hope for the devastated region. 1939. Rainfall increases, bringing much-needed relief to the parched land. Farmers begin to rebuild their lives and restore the soil. 1940. While the Dust Bowl era comes to an end, its legacy and lessons learned continue to shape agricultural practices and environmental policy. Section 5. Exodus from the plains, migration and hardship during the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl triggered one of the largest migrations in American history. Forced from their homes by the relentless dust and economic despair, families packed their meager belongings into jalopies, often just a mattress and a few cherished items. They headed west, toward the promised land of California. The journey was long and arduous, filled with hardship and uncertainty. Many migrants faced discrimination and prejudice upon arrival in California. Jobs were scarce, wages were low, and living conditions were often squalid. John Steinbeck's novel, The Grapes of Wrath, captured the struggles and resilience of these Dust Bowl refugees. Despite the challenges, these migrants displayed remarkable resilience and a determination to rebuild their lives. Their stories are a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and overcome adversity. Section 6. The dust settles, lessons remain, long-term impacts and policy changes. The Dust Bowl was a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of human actions and the environment. It highlighted the dangers of unsustainable agricultural practices and the importance of soil conservation. The experience led to significant changes in farming methods and government policies. The Soil Conservation Service, formed in 1935, promoted contour plowing, terracing and crop rotation to prevent soil erosion. The federal government provided financial assistance and resources to help farmers implement these sustainable practices. The Dust Bowl era also saw the rise of environmental awareness. People began to understand the delicate balance of ecosystems and the importance of protecting natural resources. Section 7. Echoes in the Wind. Lessons learned and the future of sustainable agriculture. The Dust Bowl serves as a powerful reminder that our actions have consequences. It underscores the importance of respecting the land and its limits. While the dust storms of the 1930s have faded into history, the lessons learned continue to resonate today. The challenges facing agriculture today are different, but the need for sustainable practices remains paramount. Climate change, soil degradation, and water scarcity are pressing issues that demand innovative solutions. By learning from the past, embracing new technologies, and promoting responsible land management, we can strive to create a future where the tragedies of the Dust Bowl are never repeated.